Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, Insider News Outlet just conducted and released an incredible analysis of lawmakers and their congressional staff and their stock trades. And this was as well as their compliance or non-compliance with the Stock Act, which was enacted to prevent conflicts of interest. Because obviously, essentially, you don't want lawmakers using information that they have access to make investment decisions. You also want to prevent lawmakers from making decisions as elected leaders that are going to personally benefit them financially, but aren't in the public's best interests. So that was kind of what this Stock Act was supposed to prevent. I mean, we all know that this law is a bunch of BS because corporate Democrats and Republicans have made and continue to make a fortune in the stock market. Somehow they're all stock trading geniuses, right? I mean, there's credible reporting that members of Congress have stock portfolios that perform hundreds of times better than the average stockholder. That is not coincidence. Nancy Pelosi and her husband are two of the worst, or I guess the best in their minds. They've made a fortune. They've literally amassed something like $150 million while she's been in Congress. Yeah, she's just lucky, right? So we've all surmised that they've used their positions to profit while pretending to be public servants. But this article, this analysis, and I shouldn't say article because it's multiple pages, but it lays out in stark terms which members of Congress have the most conflicts of interest and are using their positions to line their pockets. And the corruption is almost evenly split among Republicans and Democrats. And overall, the number is just way too high. So here's what we know. Insider categorized lawmakers with a rating of either solid, borderline, or danger. Solid means they're playing by the rules. Borderline means that there's some conflicts. Danger means they're done. They've already crossed the line big time. They've already committed, violations of this act multiple times. 13 members of Congress fell into this danger zone.
Danger zone!
Sorry, I had to lighten the mood because the shit pisses me off. But anyway, Congress members who are blatantly crossing the conflict of interest line are House members Pat Fallon, Lance Goodman, Diane Harshbarger, Kevin Hern, Chris Jacobs, Susie Lee, Tom Malinowski, Sean Patrick Maloney, Dan Muser, Blake Moore, Tom Suozzi, I think is how you pronounce it, and Tommy Tuberville. The one and only senator who falls into that danger category is Democrat Dianne Feinstein. Now, that breaks down to 5 Democrats and 8 Republicans blatantly flouting the laws, potentially selling their constituents out in favor of money, in favor of the almighty dollar. The borderline group is a lot larger, so I'm not going to read off the names, but I'll add a link to the article in the description box below if you'd like to see who made the list. Just to give you an idea of who's playing fast and loose, there are 50 borderline Democrats, 63 borderline Republicans, and 1 borderline independent. What's really great about this insider article or their analysis and the way they've done it all is that they provided an interactive map of all the states. So you can go and you can click on a state and a list of that state's representatives will pop up so you can see if your Congress members are possibly selling you out. Isn't that nice? Also on the left side of the page, left column, you can click on links to see stories that they've compiled which highlight Congress members' hypocrisy. It talks about, how these conflicts of interest help to shape public policy, how lawmakers have fought against rules and laws to prevent these types of conflicts. For example, there's an article about lawmakers owning various types of stocks. There's a few articles like that. Like one of them talks about how some of these members own stock in Philip Morris, obviously the tobacco company. There's others that own stock in social media companies like Facebook, while they're regulating Facebook, or supposed to be, should be regulating them. So, how can we be sure, that they're not allowing their personal finances to play a role in their decisions? And Insider detailed how 22 Democrats who portray themselves as environmental heroes and champions, against climate change, they have vested interest, financial interest in companies that rely on fossil fuels. So this is why we see nothing happen, why it's all talk, no action. And they say that 15 lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have personally invested in companies that hold military contracts, like companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing. And these 15 lawmakers have prominent positions on committees that control U.S. military policy. Seriously, is it any wonder why these people can always find the cash to fund the military budget, to go kill people, but they can't ever, for some reason, find the money to save people, to improve lives with social spending policies like Medicare for all, like free college tuition, like, free childcare, free pre-K. And Insider also mentioned that, and this is a quote, at least 75 lawmakers bought and sold stock in companies that make COVID vaccines, treatments, and tests. And again, this is on both sides of the aisle. If you want people to trust the science, if you want people to trust vaccines and trust that they're being told the truth about the virus and about their treatment options, it's probably a good idea to take money out of the equation. When you have lawmakers literally voting on bills that give billions of dollars to companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and all these others, Moderna, for the creation of vaccines, people would trust the results a lot more if they knew that lawmakers didn't literally have a financial stake in the outcome of those products and of those vaccines. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not sorry. Lawmakers should not be allowed to trade stock while they're working for we the people. That's it. No exceptions. Do not pass go. Do not collect $2 million while implementing or blocking laws on behalf of the American people. No, sorry. If you don't like it, get out. Go get a job as a lobbyist or somewhere else. But this should not ever, under any circumstances, be allowed. If it were up to me, the law would be you don't have to sell your stock when you take office, but you can't change that stock while you're in office. You can't sell it. You can't buy it. You can't buy any other stock. Whatever you had coming in is what you leave with. And as with any other American citizen who doesn't have access to inside information, you ride it out. You ride out the ups and you ride out the downs until you leave office, and probably for a specified period of time afterwards, maybe a year or so, because, they could make laws or rules that don't go into effect for a few months or whatever, and they'll still benefit from making that decision. So anyway, guys, like I said, it isn't just lawmakers, it's also their staff. So I urge you guys to take a look at this and check out all the details. And Nancy Pelosi was just asked about this. People ask why I don't like Nancy Pelosi, why I don't trust her. This is one of the reasons why. This is a perfect example. Like I said, she and her husband are worth about $150 million as a public servant. And she was asked about this and whether or not she thinks it's a problem that Congress people trade stock. And her answer was no, we have a free market. It's not a problem. She won't make changes so that our interests can be represented instead of their stock portfolios, their pocketbook. She has to go. She's corrupt. This is why we can't have nice things. I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, I'll let you know if I hear any more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.